any idea how successful censorship is on TV? Don't know the answer? Successful, isn't it?
I talked to a student recently at one of our woke college campuses who said she's required in every class to introduce herself and to give her pronouns. Well, I'm Ted Cruz, and my pronoun is kiss my ass.
The only way to win a fight is to fight back. Welcome to the Prepared Mind channel. It is too much SHTF Tuesday. I kind of like Taco Tuesday better, but no, it's too much SHTF Tuesday. I've got a lot, folks, a lot right here. Let's get into it. We're going to cover belief systems. We're going to cover government. We're going to cover World War III. We're going to cover schools. We're going to cover all the SHTF stuff. And yes, we may even touch on this thing. Remember when you were told, trust the science, believe the science. Yeah, the bunch of crybabies want us to believe their science. My ass. I'll tell you what. Here's another one. Faith. Devout Catholics. Is there another kind? Oh, wait. I mean, it used to be a rhetorical question. If someone ever described a Catholic as devout, you're like, is there another kind of Catholic? Well, apparently they are, because Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden are supposedly Catholic, and they believe in abortion. Anyways, Catholics say there's suspicious activity going on around their churches because the FBI has now targeted them for extremist behavior. Isn't this absolutely amazing? The First Amendment, folks, is free speech. The First Amendment is freedom to worship as you see fit. The government cannot, is absolutely prohibited from you having your belief system, your faith in God, whatever it is, not faith in Satan and evil and destruction, but faith in God, that which is good, God, gut. And the FBI is now targeting them. I guess faith is extreme, while BLM and Antifa, remember when Joe Biden said Antifa? That's just an idea. That idea burned and looted and murdered along with BLM activists who are also Marxists, which means they are anti-Christian. Oh, folks, we've got some SHTF on our part. Now, earlier today, I was working, and I worked my ass off in the heat. And word to the wise, that's what this is, a training / be prepared warning. Warning, warning, Dr. Smith, warning. My hands started cramping and wouldn't work because I was so dehydrated and I kept working in the sun. Understand, folks, know your limits. Now, when I was younger, I don't know, in my 20s, my 30s, I could work all day in the sun, of course, be drinking lots of water and Gatorade or whatever the hell, but work in the sun and no problems. Now, work in the sun all day and the hands start cramping just from too much sweating. Make sure you stay hydrated, which means not only do you need food, you need water, and lots of it. It doesn't have to be cold water. It just has to be clean water, sanitary water, and lots of it. Don't be fooled and, train. This is the importance of training, whether it's running, doing jumping jacks, which I was asked to do the other night, swimming, whatever it is, stay hydrated, folks. Super important. Now, those people out there, those idiots in your 10-mile radius, if shit gets nasty, guess what? They're going to get dehydrated. If everything else is taking a crap and they think they're just going to march for 10 miles, no problem, they're going to be sorely mistaken. They're going to be fucked up if the water is shut off and they don't have access to it. Okay, so yeah, I probably drank a gallon since I've gotten home. Stay hydrated, stay clean. It's got to be good water. Now, I perused YouTube to see what was going on over there. And there are some good, decent, honest discussions. But someone said, why is no one talking about Ukraine anymore? Well, guess what? I'm going to do just that. And I do talk about Ukraine. There's so much across the whole spectrum of SHTF and world events that, yeah, I'll touch on Kremlin. I'll touch on Kiev. I'll touch on DC and the war. But I don't dwell on it 24/7. Now, in this instance, in this episode of Too Much SHTF Tuesday, guess what? Well, the Kremlin is basically crapped on Washington, D.C. because Washington, D.C., the White House, the Pentagon, is claiming that there are massive casualty numbers, that the Russians are dying at the hands of the Ukrainian people. Folks, part of every war is propaganda. Every war is propaganda. Now, over in Ukraine, that little shit Zelensky has anyone who wants to criticize the war are on his blacklist, his hit list, his kill list. Bring it on, you little bitch. Bring it to America. Try it. I want America to see what a liar he is. Anyways, let us continue. So DC is lying about Russia. And Russia, folks, for its part, is full of propaganda as well. But I have here another article on World War III and the Ukrainian counteroffensive. And drum roll, please. It's delayed. Why is it being delayed? Well, folks, is it weather? Is it a geomagnetic storm causing tanks to float in the air? Right? Is it aliens and balloons? No, folks. It's the fact that Ukraine is suffering. Now, I don't think that they have soldier-making machines over there where they just crank out babies and they rise to full maturity and intelligence and can be trained to be soldiers in less than a month. That's not how life works. It takes, at least 15 years, 16, 17 years for a country to make a baby and have him grow up to go get killed by Zelensky. Right? It's a long process to raise humans. And guess what? It was months and months ago. In fact, it was a freaking 6 months ago. Ukraine was sending old men in their 50s, their 40s, and I consider us, relatively speaking, to the 18-year-old soldiers, we're old. Right? I'm more apt at my age to find myself a good observation post and observe and pick off idiots rather than go out there and look for ambushes. Right? It's a whole different world when you get older, and it's a whole smarter world. Probably when I was 20, I would have believed all this bullshit about Ukraine being victimized. Well, I'm a little older and a lot wiser. I'm glad you are too. Now, follow the science. Follow the science. Well, according to Zero Hedge, the Washington, D.C. government, the Biden administration, has finally abandoned the cerveza bug Jim Jones juice requirement for travelers coming into the country. It's done. So now tennis players can come here and have the same free entry that illegal immigrants on the southern border have. They don't have to be juicinated. I don't know, folks. I don't trust the government. Now, they've rescinded the emergency. No more cerveza bug emergency. They've rescinded that because the emergency no longer exists. And all those requirements that every stinking, smelly Democrat politician is, after they threatened us, cajoled us, used duress on the country. They're claiming, oh, no, we never forced anyone. Oh, no, there was no mandate. Fucking liars. Duress is a form of force. It is financial. It is psychological. It's fraud. But anyways, they've dropped everything. I wonder why. Now, I can't talk about anything medical, and I won't because I'm not an expert whose first name is Anthony and last name is Fauci. Would he be fact-checked if he came out and admitted, or if he came out and agreed with us 100%? Would he get fact-checked? In fact, I'm fucking sick and tired of fact-checking, as if any fact-checker knows the fucking facts, right? Everything, folks, just about everything comes down to belief systems. And I'm going to give you a great example. I know for a fact that freedom is the best. Is that a fact, or is that my fact? There's other people that swear that democracy is the best. There's other people that swear that communism is the best, or fascism is the best. You know, some version of socialism is the best. Well, it's their best and what they believe, and it's a matter of faith. Now, if you want to compare things statistically, or say what is the most productive form of an economy, right? Then you have to compare like economies and during like times and see. But it really comes down to, what do you believe? And here's the next one. What are you willing to die for? That's a huge question. What are you willing to die for? All right. Well, these fruitcakes on the left, well, they and their woke corporations, they're willing to die for their beliefs. Hey, Bud Light, they've got a new ad campaign blitz. Well, they're trying to basically, folks, wave off their suicide move. And this is interesting. They actually say, you know, this is a quote. It's a quote from Bud Light, their spokesperson, Jerkoff. We've never seen such a dramatic shift. Yeah. I got more on this for you, folks. Oh, by the way, I'm almost halfway through my monologue. I'll do 30 minutes on this Too Much SHTF Tuesday, and then give you guys 30 minutes to shoot the shit with me, to give me your questions, your comments, your statements, your thoughts, your opinions, your predictions, your history, your future. You lay it out there down below. I'm thinking that guy Orlando, and maybe even that other guy Chin Music, and maybe Cottage Farm, and some others have some great things to say. Haven't heard from Bonnie Blue in a while. I know that there's some great questions out there. I think Heidi has a good question that she sent me privately and said, "What do you think of this?" And I said, "Ask me during the show. I gotta work." Anyways, Bud Light, you know, they went down that road. They're willing to frickin' die until they realize what it feels like to have their money choked off. Like, hey, this fucking hurts, right? I tell you what, why don't you, Budweiser, why don't you go with what you did? Anheuser-Busch, keep running with it. InBev, F you. InBev is the corporation that owns Anheuser-Busch and all its American labels. Now, go all the way. Double down, Bud. Maybe you can sponsor school gay porn next. That's right. All the gay porn they want to put in schools, Hillary Clinton, join them, Bud. Just go all the way. Own that shit, you bunch of fucking idiots. Unbelievable. I think every woke corporation deserves the Budweiser treatment. And it's evidence, folks. It's proof that we, the people, are powerful. Absolute evidence that we, the people, are incredibly powerful. Don't forget it. Don't let them lie to you. Don't let them fool you. Don't let them fool you. We are way more powerful than they want to admit. Incredible, folks. Budweiser, go right ahead. Right ahead. I mean, this is... right. To give you an example of how bad Budweiser is hurt, at Costco, Costco and Sam's Club, these are these big membership stores. People have to pay a little money to get a membership to Costco or Sam's Club. Well, they're practically giving away their Bud, and especially their Bud Light. Someone buy this piss, right? Now, in the same stores at Costco and Sam's, Coors, Miller, other beers, right? Like Coors Light, Miller Lite, Toast, empty. You know, they're selling like hotcakes as usual. Americans love their watered down piss beer as much as they love their other beverages, but not Bud Light, folks. In fact, I bet anyone who has a case, a carton of Bud Light probably gets people sneering at him like, you fucking jerk. You know, we know exactly what you are, right? You probably got one of those face masks that you wear in your car when you drive around that's got a dildo on the inside so you can chew on your chew toy. You know, it's incredible. Anyways, the point is that people, you and I, are powerful. Our dollars do matter, and we can hurt these woke corporations by cutting them off. Fuck them. And it's also the very reason the government fears us. They fear parents at school board meetings. They do. They fear us at the voting booth. So we got shenanigans there. They fear us protesting. And that's why they had the January 6th agent provocateur sabotage, attack, and then claim that everyone was there in an insurrection. It was a chilling effect. It still goes today. 2 fucking years ago. Going on 3? Yeah, January 2021. So 22, now past January 23. 2 years plus. Republicans don't want to go protest because they're afraid of the freaking BI. Because they're a bunch of scumbags. The government fears us, and they put us in a position to fear them. We matter, folks. We are powerful. They are just a couple of agents here and there who will show up at a protest to deal with a couple protesters. They won't come after us en masse. They don't have enough people. And they would fear, folks, that we would see what they're doing. Absolutely what they're doing as wrong, unconstitutional, unlawful. They're very, very afraid, folks. Now, let us continue, right? Let us continue. Once again, Hungary told Zelensky, right? You know, go fuck yourself. The people are powerful, and countries where the people are free, where they have their national pride. Hungary is a very proud country. They have a president, Viktor Orban, who is pro-Hungary, not pro-European Union, not woke, right? Who criticizes everything that's going on. We need more people like that, questioning authority, questioning the big bosses, right? And so they're getting their NATO loyalty questioned. No, it's NATO loyalty. What should that be about? Oh, yeah, protecting Europe from invasion. NATO, I would think that NATO shouldn't be about expanding NATO power into countries and threatening others. Anyways, let us continue. Let us continue. Where do I want to go next? Oh, this is just brilliant. But I can't say anything more than reading you the headline. In Texas, the Attorney General Ken Paxton has said that an investigation against certain companies for their deceptive practices. It's an investigation. Now, I'm tired of investigations that go absolutely nowhere. I want investigations to come. I want investigations to prove that these woke corporations have violated the law, the American people's trust, and have caused damage. And I think all three of those things are true. And the companies I'm talking about that are woke are not what you think. It's Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, I'm sure AstraZeneca, but the investigation is against Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, Moderna. You can guess, because I can't say anything more. You can guess what they're investigating. It needs to happen, but there needs to be more than just an investigation, right? If you or I get investigated by the government, about 5 minutes later, you get that fucking knock on the door. We've been investigating you. We decided to arrest your ass. These fucking companies, these politicians, they get investigated, and then it's like, yeah, we investigated you. We did our job. Now go back to screwing America over and screwing the world over. That's what it feels like. Maybe I'm just too sensitive. Maybe I'm too sensitive. Let me tell you who's too sensitive. Beetlejuice. That's right. Larry Lightfoot, I guess, is still mayor of Chicago, even though they've elected a basic hardcore socialist scumbag to replace her. Well, Lightfoot is demanding that sending illegal immigrants to Chicago must stop. Quote, we are completely tapped out. Well, because Texas Governor Greg Abbott is sending illegal immigrants there. Unbelievable, huh? Poor Lori. I mean, what's going on in her town? They're shipping in too many people that aren't murdering as many people as her own citizens? Oh, I get it. I really hope it is hurting Chicago. And I'll tell you why. Because I do not want Chicago, LA, San Francisco, Seattle. I don't want Philly and Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Indianapolis, DC, New York City, Boston, or any other major metropolis. I don't want them to have it easy while the rest of us get fucked over by this illegal problem. They're pouring across the border. In fact, this Title 42 is supposed to be rescinded, done, sunset. And there's supposedly 1 million illegals on the other side of the border waiting to pour in. How can they do that? How can they allow that? Isn't the federal government charged with protecting this nation from invasion? If those people coming across the border all had rifles, do you think Biden would change the way he approaches the situation? Do you think he would give a shit? Do you think he would call the Army and the Marine Corps? No. He would probably go there and hand out fucking ice cream cones and then direct little children to go sit in Air Force One and wait for Grandpa Joe to come back so he can sniff their hair. I can't stand it. It's interesting. Larry Lightfoot says they're completely tapped out. What about the rest of America? Talking to a friend of mine the other day, he goes, I pay an incredible amount of tax. This person I know, folks, makes $60,000 a year. Barely getting by. Lives in a small home, very conservative, right? Pays an enormous sum of money as a private contractor in taxes. Can't write off enough stuff. Can't get a fucking break. How many people like you and me are just like that? But Lori Lightfoot says Chicago's tapped out. So we need to all change our behavior to protect Chicago? There comes a time, folks. Taxation. You take away the taxes and we could live well in this fucking country. Take away the taxes. Give us our own money back to spend how we see fit. I think that would be a great event. Government, how about this? Tax corporations. Corporations exist at the will, benefit, and pleasure of government. Without the government, corporations can't exist. Corporations exist only because government authorizes them. They are a creation of the state in legalese. Therefore, they owe the government for their existence. Government can tax corporations all they want. Tax the fuck out of them. And I'll tell you what, we can decide which corporations we want to spend our money on. And we'll buy more expensive Coca-Cola or more expensive Budweiser or more expensive Dick's Sporting Goods or more expensive Nikes who have a high tax. Only if we decide we want to give them our money so they can pay their fucking taxes. You see, that would make the people way more powerful. That's why the government wants to tax us individually, which I also believe is illegally. 16th Amendment was never properly ratified. It does not create a personal income tax. Yet here we are with the IRS with at least 2, sometimes 3 or 4 fingers right up our asses trying to control us. And they do a good job, do they not? Folks, it's time to wake up. You cannot win a fight if you do not engage. Now, every great bully out there knows that if they can bully someone and beat on them and that person does not fight back, then they win. They're going to win if you don't fight, so you may as well fight back and show them that, yeah, we can win and we are brave and we will stand up to their bullshit. Every one of these cities where these jackass punks, BLM and Antifa are out there, if the people would come out and swarm them and say, get the fuck out of here, and crowd them right off the fucking street. Instead, it's usually one guy. 1 or 2 big tough dudes goes, that's it, I'm dragging these fucking creeps out of the street. And they go over them, grab them by the scruff of their fucking neck or their little hoodie and drag them out of the street, literally. Is the only way to open up streets when these little bastards start protesting. You just wait, folks. They're coming back. They're coming back. All right. Enough of my bullshit. Well, no, not quite. Get this. Well, the late night shows, you know, like Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon and Stephen Colbert. I'll just call him Colbert. They have been shut down. Bam! Because the writers have gone on strike. Writers? I thought these guys were just naturally funny. I thought these guys just went to their chair and did what I do. I improvise my shows 100%, folks. I get some news headlines, and then I sit down and talk about them, make jokes, crack stuff. Satire. Satire alert, right? These late night shows are fucking failures, folks. They are now shut down. Shut down. Right? It proves, folks, the writers in Hollywood are the political hacks and the screwballs. The hosts just read cue cards. They read teleprompters. They're too fucking dumb to write their own material. That's what we have, folks, is we have professional writers, professional smartasses, professional propagandists, professional fucking liars. They're the ones telling TV superstars what to say. You bet. Whether it's the late night comedy jackasses or CNN, NBC, MSNBC, CNBC, right? Fox. That's right. Even Fox has writers. Now, Tucker Carlson. If Tucker did not write his own material, why didn't they just fire his writer and start writing new material and say, Tucker, this is what you get to read? Instead, they must know that it is Tucker who's responsible for what gets put on his teleprompter for him to read. See the difference between someone like Tucker Carlson and the rest of the mainstream media that reads the same bullshit sent to them through the teletype, whatever the fuck, Associated Press, and they all read the same thing. The same garbage, the same catch lines. On every local channel, it's the same bullshit written by these fucking writers. And the ones that write for the late night comedians, those shows are off the fucking air, folks. They have to shut down. They don't know what to talk about or how to say it. Yeah, they're not that smart, folks. They really aren't. The people at your local news station aren't that smart. The people on your radio aren't that smart. The people who go to anywhere, they're not that fucking smart. They can't take a news story like you and I read and think about it and go, you know, that's bullshit. Or, oh, I see what's going on here. We figured it out. Because you and I, we figure shit out. And we can read comments on the internet to news stories and go, I see what other people are thinking. I agree. I don't agree. I can add something to that. Oh, I see points 1 and 2 make sense. Point 3, not so much. We can think for ourselves. And that's what makes us powerful. And the fucking mainstream media is afraid of us. The politicians are afraid of us. And that's why they want to silence this show. They do. They want to silence this show. They want to silence you. Don't let them. Thank you for supporting this show, for standing up. So many people, folks, want shows like this and others to stay on board, to stay awake, stay alive, and keep doing what we do. Folks, I improvise this show every fucking day. In the morning, I get up, I read a news story, I improvise. While I'm driving. These fucking people can't do jack shit, right? I mean, if you want to give it a great example, here it is right here, of the difference between people like me and you who can think and people in mainstream media and people in politics is Karine Jean-Pierre. Today, folks, a reporter asked her why Joe Biden won't acknowledge the existence of his grandchild, his 7th grandchild. So instead of having an actual response, because this question has come up lately, the last few days, you'd think they would prepare a fucking answer. At least talk about it so they know how to respond. Instead, she gets pissed off, pissy, bitchy, if you will. Karine Jean-Pierre is a moron. Or at least I should say, she's an average person who should not be in that position because she cannot improvise and think on her feet as questions come from all over the place, peppering her from the media. And these are mostly friendly fucking media. And the media is getting tired of Joe Biden's bullshit and the fact that Jean-Pierre Karine cannot answer her fucking questions. And sometimes they bring out John Kirby to lie to everyone else just to give us a fresh face to want to throw fucking tomatoes at. All right. And I'm spent. Let's do this. Let's go to the inner circle so you guys can ask questions. That's right, that little beep, beep, beep. I'm not flatlined. I tell you what, you guys pepper me with questions, and I answer them all. It's rare that I go, ooh, I missed that story. I don't have a thought to say about that, right? It's pretty fucking rare, isn't it? It's because you and I think. We do. Let's do this. Ooh, man. Do we have... Oh, it is Ooh, man. He says, Brandon Johnson, Mayor BJ. That's an appropriate name. I wonder how he makes money on the weekends at the Greyhound bus station, BJ. Anyways, he will be sworn in on May 15th. That's 13 more days of Beetlejuice in Chicago. I bet that Larry can't wait to retire. One of the ugliest women ever to live. One of the ugliest women to ever live, was elected mayor of Chicago. One of the dumbest socialist morons to ever live was elected as mayor of Chicago. It didn't matter that she was black. It didn't matter that she was a woman. It didn't matter that she was gay. She was still given her chance to prove that socialist policies work. No, they did not. Murder rate high, highest in the country. Businesses fleeing, one of the highest escape for businesses and for citizens getting the fuck out. Chicago, right? I've been to Chicago once and only once, and that was when my plane landed there and then took off. The Windy City. A lot of people from that area down here in the South now. It's either Chicago or New York. And then the locals, they like to say, don't bring your shit here. And then they ask people who are from those other areas and go, what are your politics? They just come right out. What are your fucking politics? Because we don't want that shit from up there brought here. It ain't gonna fucking fly. See, there's a difference between, I think, democracy and a fucking republic. People in cities tend to believe that, well, I voted for it, it should become law. It's not how it works. A republic has rules. Rules. And those rules have to be obeyed. Those rules are restrictions on government. There's a reason that we restrict government, because it's dangerous. And government should not have a say over people. There's very limited authority in all truth. And we can see where we're at 200 plus years later, the way government treats us. All right, enough of my bullshit. Man, let's get back into the questions, and we're going to start with Charles Gentry. He said, did anyone else see the videos coming out of France from over the weekend? Non-firearm owning citizens made the riot police break and run. If only they had freedom seed spreaders. Now, Charles, I on YouTube am not allowed, nor will I encourage harmful and dangerous behavior or violence. I'm not going to glamorize it. But I will say this. Yeah, I did see what's going on over France. They had their equivalent of Labor Day or Laborers' Day. They called it May Day. And they're pissed because Emmanuel, I married my mother, Macron, that turd, what did he do? He raised the retirement age. He's taking away benefits of the people who have paid in their whole lives. You know, I think it would be fair if the government gave everyone their money back. Whether the French government or the U.S. government, it doesn't matter. Give us our fucking money back that we paid into Social Security disability. Give us our money back. Plus interest. Hell, even with no interest, just give me all of my money, one lump sum. Oh, actually, you know, they would probably love to do that. They would love to do that. Just hand everyone out their money and go, off you go. And then inflation would go bonkers. It would chew all the money up, and the government would have no more encumbrances. Yeah, boy, I tell you. Now, yeah, France, the people didn't need guns. You know, we don't need guns in order to make the government obey us. We don't. Now, we need guns in case the government decides to use their guns to make us obey them. Now, the police get to run around with their guns. Over the last few years, something marvelous has happened in the United States of America. Court decision after court decision after court decision after fucking court decision has come out and ruled that the Second Amendment really exists. It is not a phantom amendment. It actually is written in plain English, shall not be infringed. And the judges seem to be able to read that English. How fucking amazing is that? Shall not be infringed. Shall not be infringed. Holy shit. That means the government can't make rules regarding firearms, how to carry them. So states are saying, yeah, it's up to us. Go ahead, carry your guns wherever the fuck you want concealed. A lot of states are like, hey, concealed or unconcealed, what do we care? As long as you're not breaking the law. Yeah, no shit, as long as we're not breaking the law. And so there has been a renaissance of people being able to carry their guns, concealed or not. And isn't it interesting how mass murders are not occurring by honest, decent citizens? No, it's only the fucking deranged mental cases from the political left. And they write their manifestos and explain how they want to fucking kill everyone because everyone else doesn't believe their sick, twisted lies. Like, well, the world should be LGBTQ friendly and everyone should start by cutting off their own genitals to be to show us their solidarity with us. And because they refuse, I'm now going to try and kill everyone because I'm a lunatic. Those are the leftists, folks, not me and you. You don't see conservative mothers who just got out of church go, you know, I think I'm going to take my gun and start killing people. No. No one says, Jesus told me to start killing everyone, so here I am. Nobody does that because it doesn't happen. And Jesus doesn't say start killing people. So it's not Christians that are committing the mass murders, folks. It isn't. I wonder how many of the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department, I wonder how many of those sons of bitches go to church. I wonder how many of them go to church and lie to God. Well, Lord, I did a good job this week. I arrested more conservatives and put them in jail. And while in jail, I kicked them in the ribs several times, but they deserved it because they're conservatives. You know, really? Nope, I don't think so. I think that it should be mandatory that you only hire Christian police. Maybe that would be a lot better than hiring a bunch of agnostic, government worshiping frickin' socialists into the police departments. That's right, folks. You don't see people going out of church to kill people. You only see leftists trying to go into church. You don't see people coming out of abortion or you don't see people coming out of non-abortion clinics, right? Real medical buildings wanting to hurt people. You see fruitcakes going to the non-abortion clinics, medical places, trying to help others, right? These people come in trying to hurt them. Can't help people. That's wrong. You need to just abort babies. Anyways, I'm rambling on. Anyways, yeah, the French, they showed us a lot. Protesting works. Not paying your taxes, folks, is another form of protest that the government says is illegal. But if we did it, guess what? If we did it, the government would be hurt pretty damn fast. Of course, they'd be able to write blank checks to themselves. They would try and outweight us. They would do their best. It would become a war of attrition between us and the government. I remember, though, years ago, back in the early 90s, in California, in Amador County, which is where I lived at the time, Amador County, California. There was the owner of an auto parts store. He had 3 stores. They were ATI Auto Parts. His name is Jim Swift, Jimswift. And the state of California stopped paying their bills because they did not have a budget approved in a state run by a bunch of fucking Democrats, like it always has. They couldn't get anything approved. So the state was like, we're just not going to pay our bills. And so Jim Swift said, yeah, well, then I'm not paying my fucking taxes because you bastards owe me. It was good. It was a hell of a battle. Hell of a battle. And back then, media was honest enough to go up and interview Jim Swift and get his opinion and actually tell other people about it. Do you think today, media in Sacramento, or for that matter, any other city, Chicago, New York, Baltimore, Dallas, do you think any other local media would give a shit and show what the people think when the government fails? No, no, no. They're going to give us their sound bites, their bullshit, their lies, and propaganda. Welcome to SHTF 24/7, folks. It is on. All right. Just moving along. Let's see. Yep. It's incredible, folks. I'm just looking at the news as it scrolls on by. But it's not my turn. It's your turn. Let's get into more questions. Thank you, Mr. Oliver. And it is Cyber Hana, who a couple of years ago sent me this shirt. Thank you again, Cyber Hana. It's a very comfortable t-shirt. That's why I wear it. Well, every wash cycle, it gets worn. I love this shirt. Anyway, she says, I noticed when in Indy, meaning Indianapolis, Indiana, I got Indy's ads on my laptop. As soon as I got into Minnesota, I started getting ads from Minnesota. Then I was in Bismarck for a day, and I got ads for North Dakota. I talked about my car, my next car, and what I want to look at, so I get plenty of ads for the cars I'm interested in. LOL. You're being tracked. We are all being tracked. Quite interesting, is it not? We're being tracked, folks. Your location. If your phone doesn't give out your GPS location, the cell tower you're next to goes ping, and it nails your phone or your laptop, and it knows where you are. It's like, okay, let's see, website, major website, Google, internet, phone, hotspot. And so they know where you're at based on your last bounce off of one of their servers or routers, if you will, or cell towers. They know where you're at within a few miles, even if your GPS is off. So yes, if you're in Indiana, if you're in LA, they're gonna know where you're at. That's just how this game plays, folks. It's just how it plays. Now, additionally, your phone is listening to you. And whatever you talk about, it sends all that data to who? Advertisers. Whoever has freaking cookies on your phone or your computer, right? Your phone listens to you and looks at what you're texting and looking for. Whereas, right, your computer can only see what you're looking at online. So it used to crack me up. I would be looking up something, and this is years and years and years ago, folks. I'd look up something on Amazon, and then I'd buy something on Amazon, and 2 days later, I'd get advertisements from Amazon for the thing I bought 2 or 3 days earlier. And I'm like, I see what they're doing, but they're a little bit fucking late, and why don't they know I already bought it? It is, after all, Amazon. Well, I hate buying from Amazon because they're a bunch of pricks. And, well, they're woke. Wow. Yeah. And so, yeah, that's how that works. They just know where you're at, and your phone does listen to you. I like to clean cookies off my computer. I have security programs that block things, firewalls that block things. My computer shuts itself down automatically. All of those things, antivirus. Of course, they want you to pay out the nose for their protection. And it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting how this works. But AI is bad, folks. The people that have invented AI, that took all that money for years and years to invent it, now they're coming out and saying, it's not such a good idea. Folks, AI is a liar because it's a program that's told to creatively lie to us. Because the people that are paying money for AI, guess what? They have something they're selling. They have an agenda. And so they'll use artificial intelligence to create lies. I wonder how many people in the Prepared Mind audience, the 80,000 of us, I wonder how many of them are AI chatbots. I wonder. Anyways, yeah, they're listening. They're trying to learn where we're at. I'm not afraid of them, though, folks. I'm sure the government knows right where I'm at. And I'm sure the government knows right where I'm at and what I'm thinking about. The thing is I get a strange variety of ads. It cracks me up because I talk about every subject known to man, and I look at everything, all the topics on my phone or my computer. And so the computer's probably like, holy shit, this guy, we need to sell him everything on the planet. So it's like regular old-fashioned TV. I get stupid ads for all kinds of shit. So I'm not getting just hammered with just one thing, you know, running shoes. I'll probably never get another ad for running shoes, except now I've said the words running shoes. And so I'm sure the computer's like, he said running shoes 3 times in a row. He must be in the mood for running shoes. Quick, get him some running shoes ads. I will not buy running shoes, folks. I'm not running anywhere. All right, let's move on. Thank you, Cyberhana. And now it is Heidi. And she has a very good comment. This is one she sent me. Thank you, Heidi. She says, I have always thought that the Supreme Court was strong-armed into not looking at the evidence. And then the judgment on Roe v. Wade was deliberately leaked. But the authorities refused to arrest the protesters. After all that, it seemed that the court is leaning to the right a bit more. Yeah, the Supreme Court, let's put up the first part of that, if we can, again, Mr. Uman. Thank you very much. The Supreme Court has been strong-armed They have, into not looking at evidence of what occurred in November of 2020. They have turned down a number of cases that you and I looked at the headline and went, we know the answer to that. But see, the Supreme Court has always had the latitude. Supposedly, they've had the latitude to pick what cases they want to examine. You don't have a right to be heard by the Supreme Court. You have the right to file papers in federal court. You have the right to appeal that to the federal appellate system. And the next step up is the Supreme Court, but you don't have a right to force them. The writ of certiorari is up to them, whether or not they wish to issue it, to grant it. But they have made it their business. The Supreme Court, I think, is controlled to a degree. Look at Justice John Roberts, who was appointed by Bush, but acts like he was appointed by Clinton or Obama. I wonder if he's controlled. You bet he is. Right? Clarence Thomas and Justice Alito seem to be the most right-wing. Kavanaugh, he's got some spongy soft spots. Same with that other one that we shall not name her name right now. But we actually have a Supreme Court justice who can't define what a woman is. She ought to go check between her legs and start there. Ketanji Brown Jackson, moron. Right? She's right up there with Sotomayor, who looks like Jabba the Hutt from south of the border. Just she's an awful moron. It's folks, it's incredible. I mean, look at the. Now I know this is true, and it just is true. The people, they fit their stereotypes. Ketanji Brown Jackson fits her stereotype. Sotomayor fits her fucking stereotype. Hell, Justice Kavanaugh fits the stereotype. Clarence Thomas fits the. Everyone who wants to scream Uncle Tom, right? He fits the stereotype. He speaks good English. He speaks very clearly. He thinks very logically. Must be an Uncle Tom, right? I mean, how did that white guy get his skin so dark? It's ridiculous. The Supreme Court is full of. Look at Ruth Bader Ginsburg, right? Darth Vader dumbass, wearing her school marm crap on her hair and her glasses. Wouldn't die. Finally had the decency to die, but wouldn't vacate her seat on the Supreme Court. I got to tell you, they've stood up for gun rights. Federal judges are throwing out gun cases, the gun laws. And they're saying to the government, no, they have a right to carry. They have a right to protect themselves. They have a right. That dumbass down in Arizona, the old fart that shot the Mexican dude on his property, I call him a dumbass because his rights are being violated. I don't know why he doesn't take the case immediately to the federal court system. They go, why have I been arrested for protecting myself? I have a right to keep and bear arms. And bearing arms and self-defense go hand in hand. I had to shoot somebody because they were threatening me. I don't get what the problem is, except that the local judges all over the country, the local district attorneys, are violating people's rights on every chance, every occasion. Folks, we got trouble. Shit has hit the fan. And I'm glad that the federal courts are seeing it the intelligent way. But yeah, they also are controlled, in my opinion. Let's do this. We're running out of time. I need to answer some more questions. These have been great questions, comments, topics, and I just love digging into them with you guys. Unlike Karine Jean-Pierre, who can't answer a fucking simple question, I'll go into depth with you guys. Ooh, man, who do we want to throw up next? Hey, it's Bonnie Blue. I knew. I knew she was out there. She was a warning last night from Permapasture's channel of foreign child predators appearing at farm, including those off the beaten path and approaching young children on their own farm properties. Whoa, ho, ho, ho. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Foreigners in our country approaching young children on farms. Why would they want farm children, rural children? Because they're good, because they're innocent, because they're actually more trusting. People who live on farms in rural areas, they trust people more because they expect and anticipate that they'll be treated the same way they would treat others. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. They're moral, decent fucking people. So these predators who are from, well, let's just start naming some countries, shall we? Mexico, San Salvador, or El Salvador, Nicaragua. How about Panama, Costa Rica, Venezuela, Colombia? Yeah. These people come up here and they want to kidnap people. Let's see. How about people from the Middle East? How about people from Africa? How about people from Southeast Asia that are over here and they're like, these Americans out in the country are very trusting. So let's try and get their children so we can smuggle them out. I tell you what, folks, it is an awful and terrifying system that's out there. If you've been kidnapped, how many children go missing? That's right. That's right. Anyways, great topic. Be on alert, especially if you have children. I had 2 blonde boys, healthy, right? Blonde boys. Yeah, I was very worried about them getting kidnapped and sold off to someone like fucking Epstein. All right, let us move on if we shall. What do we got next, Mr. Human? We got Orlando, and he says, can't wait to see all the people who thought they'd be taken care of get turned on and realize they're no different than the rest of us. I believe at any time they'll try to help us win. Can't wait to see all the people who thought they'd be taken care of get turned on and realize they're no different than the rest of us. Oh, get turned on. That's right. The government turn on them, turn upon them. In other words, treat them like the enemy or treat them like trash or refuse to help them. Oh, it's incredible, folks. The government running out of money, the government not having the funds, the government not being able to hand out money willy-nilly, right? The government lied to us all during Cerveza lockdown and said, here, we'll give you all money. We'll give you all money. And then they ask you to give it all back at the end of the year on your tax form. It was incredible. It was a huge fucking lie. Yeah, we'll take care of you. We'll make it right. Fucking liars. They're still lying to this day, and they've always lied. They'll give people enough money, though, to keep them on welfare and obeying the government, but not enough to get ahead and live a decent life. It's an awful system that we have now at the local, state, and federal level. Yep. The people that thought that they're going to win the big lottery with government, they're going to find out exactly what that's all about. Thank you, Mr. Orlando. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of tears out there, folks. I was just going to use the word crocodile tears. Today I was walking along a property I was dealing with and looked out in the waterway in the swamp. There's a fucking alligator there, crocodile alligator. And I thought, yeah, there's predators everywhere. I trust that alligator, though, more than I trust human beings. I trust that alligator to be an alligator. And I understand the alligator's limitations and what it is and is not willing to do because it's an alligator. Humans are capable of doing all manner of awful, terrible shit. And you don't know what limits them or not based on what's up here in their screwy fucking heads. So be very careful and understand the world around you and who is in it. Go for a drive. See who's out there. Go for a walk if it's safe enough to go for a walk. And obviously, if you also have something stuck in your belt, and take a look around and see what's in your neighborhood. See what's in your general area. I recommend it because when shit gets crappy, folks, you're going to find out who your neighbors are. Maybe not in the best kind of way. Man, do we have one more? Let's do one more. Uno más, please. Did I see we have one more? Is that a yes or a no? But we got that. I did. I wrapped them all up. How about that? Wow. And I don't even have writers for the show. Folks, get prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Get your plan together and understand you need to continue to test yourself physically, Not hurt yourself, but physically stay conditioned and test yourself. What are your limits? So you understand that, right? Dirty Harry said, a man's got to know his limitations. Understand your limitations. Have your preps. Have your plan ready. You can't wait till the last second and then go, okay, I guess I'm going to get serious about this. Because if it's that bad, other people are figuring it out. Yes, they are. All right, let's do this. I'm going to check on out of here, and I'm going to wish you a good evening. I'll be back, 0 dark 30. And thank you again for the great support I get from you guys, for the donations I get, whether it's $1 or $5. It doesn't matter. Getting those through the donation buttons is just fabulous. Thank you so much. You guys be cool, be safe, Semper Fi, and Godspeed.